Most men over 50 think their mornings don't matter. They think the day starts whenever it starts, and whatever's going to happen with their body that day was decided years ago. I believed that too, for a long time. Here's the thing nobody told me. There's a small window right after you wake up where one habit does more for your blood flow than almost anything else you'll do for the next 16 hours. And it's not exercise. It's not a pill. It's something you drink. I'm 83 years old. Most mornings I'm up before the sun, and by the time my neighbors are still hitting snooze, I've already walked the dog 2 blocks and I'm not winded doing it. I'm not telling you that to brag. I'm telling you because for years that wasn't true. I'd get up stiff, slow, foggy, and it would take me an hour just to feel like a person. What changed wasn't my age. My age kept climbing right along. What changed was what I started doing with the first 15 minutes of my day. I still split my own firewood in the fall. I still carry the groceries in myself, both arms, no help needed, and I still get around town without leaning on anyone or anything. At 83, that's not nothing. And it's not because I found some miracle. It's because I finally understood what my body actually needed in the morning, and I gave it that instead of just coffee and habit. Let's talk about what's actually going on underneath the surface, because most men never get this explained to them in plain language. You've probably noticed it. Things aren't quite as reliable as they used to be. Maybe it's energy that used to carry you through the whole day and now taps out by 2 in the afternoon. Maybe it's something more personal, something you don't bring up even with your doctor because you'd rather just quietly work around it than talk about it. You tell yourself it's stress. Then you tell yourself it's just age. And eventually you stop asking why altogether, because asking why feels like admitting something's wrong. Here's what almost nobody sits you down and explains. None of that is really about age. It's about blood flow. Specifically, it's about a molecule your body makes called nitric oxide, and what it does is almost embarrassingly simple once you hear it. It tells the smooth muscle lining your arteries to relax and widen. When that muscle relaxes, blood moves. When it doesn't relax the way it used to, blood backs up, slows down, and every system downstream of that, your energy, your circulation, your ability to, perform the way you used to, starts running on less fuel than it needs. This is why doctors who study the heart will tell you that the arteries in a man's pelvis are actually a warning system for the arteries feeding his heart. They're smaller. They clog first. So when a man tells me he's noticed things aren't as firm or as dependable as they were, I don't hear getting older. I hear his blood vessels are asking for help before his heart has to. There's a second piece too, the nervous system, the signal that actually kicks the whole process off. And a third, the hormonal side, testosterone, which sets the baseline for how strong that signal even is to begin with. 3 systems: hormone, blood flow, nerve signal. They all have to fire together. And here's the part that changes everything once you understand it. Of those 3, blood flow is the one you actually have the most influence over, starting tomorrow morning, without a prescription pad in sight. For 3 years, I slept 3 feet away from my wife, and it felt like 300 miles. She'd fall asleep first. I'd lie there staring at the ceiling, wide awake, feeling like a roommate in my own marriage. I thought something was wrong with me. It wasn't weakness, and it wasn't just age. Here's what no one ever sits a man down to explain. This isn't about willpower. It's about specific systems in your body quietly losing steam year after year, while nobody tells you it's even happening. The pills my doctor handed me gave me headaches, made my chest feel tight, and honestly, they made me feel like I needed a pill just to feel like a man. I wasn't willing to live like that. There's a gentler way to bring those systems back, without any of that. At 83, my wife and I aren't roommates anymore. I'll show you exactly what changed it in this video, and if you want the simple support I personally use, there's a free presentation linked in the description below. So what is it? What's the one thing I started doing every single morning that men keep asking me about? Fresh ginger steeped in hot water, first thing, before coffee, before breakfast, before anything else touches my stomach. I know how that sounds. I thought the same thing the first time someone told me. A root you'd normally grate into a stir-fry, and suddenly it's supposed to matter for blood flow? But researchers who've actually studied ginger's active compounds, the ones responsible for that sharp, warm bite, found something specific. Those compounds appear to act directly on the smooth muscle in your artery walls, the same muscle nitric oxide is trying to relax. One controlled study even measured how ginger affected blood fat levels and clumping in the bloodstream, and found a measurable shift towards smoother, freer-moving blood. That's not a rumor. That's not a supplement company's marketing copy. That's what showed up when scientists actually looked. And here's why the morning matters specifically, not just the ginger. Your arteries are more responsive first thing, before the day's stress, food, and rushing around start working against you. You're giving your circulatory system its best possible shot at the start line, instead of trying to catch up after lunch. Now, I don't want to oversell one route like it's a cure-all, because it isn't, and anyone who tells you it is hasn't been honest with you. What I do is treat that cup of ginger as the anchor of a small morning system, not a magic bullet on its own. Second piece, a short walk, even just around the block, within the first hour of waking. Movement first thing helps your blood vessels practice doing what you need them to do later in the day, flexing, relaxing, responding. Third piece, and this one's less exciting, but it matters. I cut back hard on the second glass of wine at night. Alcohol in excess works against the same blood vessel function you're trying to build up in the morning, so drinking less at night and supporting circulation in the morning aren't two separate habits. They're the same habit pulling in the same direction. None of this replaces your doctor, and I mean that seriously, especially if you're on blood pressure medication or heart medication, because some natural compounds can interact with those, and that conversation needs to happen with your physician, not with a YouTube video. What I'm describing is something you do alongside your treatment, never instead of it. These days I plan things I used to quietly avoid. My wife and I booked a trip for the spring, something I would have found a reason to postpone a few years back, because I didn't trust my own energy to hold up. Now I don't think twice about it. That's not vanity talking. That's just what it feels like to trust your own body again after years of not being sure you could. Let me tell you about Delbert Ashworth. Delbert, 71, a retired mail carrier out of Toledo, Ohio, walked routes for 31 years, so if anyone should have had good circulation from all that walking, you'd think it'd be him. But he told me the last few years had crept up on him anyway, energy fading by mid-afternoon, and a quiet frustration he didn't share with many people. He started the ginger routine on a whim after his daughter sent him an article about it. 6 weeks in, he told me the biggest difference wasn't dramatic. It was that he stopped dreading the second half of his day. Small thing. Changes how a man feels about himself, though. I think about the men I grew up with, the ones who just accepted this stuff quietly and never asked a single question about why. Some of them are gone now. Some of them just gave up on feeling like themselves decades before they had to. I don't say that to scare you. I say it because there's still time, and time is exactly what a lot of men don't realize they still have, because nobody ever told them the real cause wasn't age at all. It was circulation. And circulation responds to what you do, especially what you do in that first quiet hour of the morning before the world gets its hands on you. You deserve to know why your body's been behaving the way it has. You deserve more than "it's just age" from a doctor who has 12 minutes for your appointment and 9 other patients in the waiting room. Understanding the real mechanism, the blood flow, the nitric oxide, the artery walls, that's not just information. That's the difference between quietly accepting a decline and actually doing something that speaks the same language your body does. Your erections don't disappear just because you got older. They fade when the systems behind them, blood flow, nitric oxide, hormones, energy, and recovery, slowly stop getting the support they need. Ignore that long enough, and it becomes harder to reverse. That's why I take this concentrated formula every morning. Not one ingredient trying to fix everything, but several working together to support circulation, energy, and drive from the inside out. It's a natural, doctor-backed protocol designed to support pathways your body already knows how to use. No prescription, nothing artificial. Stronger, present, confident again. And unlike the pills I tried, I didn't feel disconnected from my own body. No headaches, just steady, gradual change. My wife noticed before I even said a word. The presentation is linked right below this video. It won't replace your doctor or a healthy lifestyle. It's simply there to support your body. At 83, my wife and I aren't roommates anymore, and it's not too late for you. If any of this sounds like your mornings, or if you've already tried something like this and noticed a difference, tell me about it in the comments. I read every one of them, and I genuinely like to know what's working for you. And if you want more of these conversations, the honest kind, without the 12-minute appointment and without the fluff, go ahead and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.